Hello, my name is Dr. Gabriel Burns from Must University, and this is Education 240. Let's begin this course by speaking about Chapter 1, What is Teaching? Teaching goes far beyond what we believe as being standing in front of a class lecturing or delivering instruction in such a way that students are able to understand or grasp the knowledge. Teaching is being able to reach a student in such a way that it positively impacts their lives and helps them to be able to achieve and obtain the goals that they are wanting to obtain in their classroom. Teaching is a wonderful of study for any desired occupation or for any desired career goals. But while the teacher must understand that teaching is only just a part of the educational process, the educational process begins with the planning phase, in which the teacher must obviously sit down and begin to plan his or her syllabus, begin to plan his or her content goals of the classroom and what he or she would like to deliver to the students. The second part is the actual delivery. There are several ways that teachers can deliver instruction to students. The first way, but of course would be the most frowned upon way of delivery, would be the straight lecture method. In this category, teachers stand in front of a class and lecture the entire topic to the class, while later on planning to assess that topic in some form or some manner. Collaborative teaching is also another method that's been widely popularity. It's begun to grow in its popularity in such a way that many classrooms are beginning to use more than one teacher in the classroom to help guide the students. Perhaps one of my favorite and one of the most effective teaching methods is the explicit instruction method. In this method, we follow three simple steps. I do, we do, and then you do. In the I do step, the teacher will stand in front of the classroom and will lecture to a point to help the students adjust and understand how the topic works and understand how to solve the problem. The second part, in we do, the instructor will stand in front of the class and will begin to teach with the class, asking the class periodically questions in which they can help guide the understanding of how to find the solution. And the last part, you do, is simply where the teacher will allow the students to work together collaboratively in partners, pairs, or by themselves in order to investigate and solve a problem on their own. There are also several other ways of instructing in front of a class. One of the most impressive ways that a lot of teachers use, one of the most popular ways that a lot of teachers use, is what we call the questioning technique. The questioning technique is simply where the instructor or teacher will begin the lecture with a question. Following that question, the teacher or professor will continue to elaborate on hints and clues as to how the student may solve the problem or the process in which the student may solve the problem. The student will then be able to gather information, work together, following through with the lecture step by step under guided questions periodically throughout of the lecture until finally the investigation is complete and the entire scenario is wrapped up and solved and presented to the instructor. By either way of instructing, there are some methods that will work and some methods that will not. The teacher must understand differentiated instruction. Differentiated instruction is simply when the teacher understands what will work and what will not work for each student. We must understand as teachers that not every single method will work for every single student. Some methods may work for one student, while others may work for another. But the teacher must investigate ways in which he or she is able to reach all of the students who are in the class. A great way of doing this is by sample surveying the class in which we'll study in Chapter 3 of this series in this class of Education 240. Teaching and teaching methods is primarily concerning the teacher, but the teacher's job is evolved all around what student success can be brought out. Keep in mind that the teacher's job is to bring out the maximum performance, the maximum ability in which the students are able to achieve. Every student has a threshold, and in that threshold, the student will either be able to reach that area of maximum attempts and tries at maximum performance, or the student will not be able to achieve that maximum performance and maximum trial. The teacher must always keep in mind that it's his job or her job to teach the students upon the best of his or her abilities. The students, there must be a way to impact them and to reach the students in such a way that the students enjoy what's being delivered. If the students cannot enjoy what education's about, then they're not going to learn what education's about. If you're presenting a topic based upon some kind of war that was illustrated in some part of the world, if the students aren't particularly interested in the war and fighting in general, they're obviously going to block out that section. One of my favorite sections to begin to instruct on is mathematics. In mathematics, we can find a way to tie every piece of information into something that the students can enjoy in their lives. And through the survey that I will show you in Chapter 3, you'll see that through this, we're able to differentiate our instruction in such a way that we can apply our teaching methods to what the students enjoy. The students may enjoy sewing. The students may enjoy bowling or fishing or hunting or flying airplanes or working upon automobiles. Whatever their enjoyment actually is, this is what the teacher must focus on. The teacher must gain control over. The teacher must direct his or her instruction in that manner. Regardless of what instructional manner we use, whether it be snowballing, where we continue to ask students to discuss the topic with another student in the classroom, or whether it be what we call a trash can method, a garbage method, and where students will answer a various question and throw their paper into a garbage can, and then someone else will pick their paper out and look at their paper and make comments on that, or whatever technique that we decide to use. It's most important that the technique we use will involve the students 100%, engage the students 100%, and have the students excited and drawn to the course. If we present information that is useless to the student will leave the classroom in the same, if not worse, shape than what they entered the classroom. Our main goal is that students will leave the classroom in a better shape, learning more, carrying more out with them than what they came in. Instructional methods. Understanding teaching, understanding learning, understanding how the students learn. These are all parts of education. And while right now at this point in time you are developing your own personal teaching methods, it's important to understand that as you develop these teaching methods, as you develop the way you would like to teach, the way you would like to instruct and deliver your instruction, understand the students must be able to connect to what you are instructing. They must be able to relevate their life. Their life must correlate to what you're doing. What you are sending them, they must be able to use. There are two types of memory that are involved in their brains. There are short-term memory and there are long-term memory. Most students and the majority of students will learn the information and store it in the short-term memory. This is when the information does not apply. The information is useless to the student. They will memorize the facts enough to pass the class just for the test. Once the test is concluded, the students will discard the information and start fresh with new information. Our goal as teachers is to help students put that information in their long-term memory. Once they use the information in a daily manner, they use it every single day of their lives, they'll be able to longer retain and recall that information years beyond passing the class. It is important that we include students in the process of instruction. What is teaching? Teaching is delivering information as a team in such a way that the students can relate to what's being taught to them and they can use it in their lives. I look forward to seeing you in the next chapter, which is entitled, What is Learning?